Jerry Jones sends warning to Dak Prescott and Dallas Cowboys after loss against Ravens. Jerry Jones was excited just 2 weeks ago after the Dallas Cowboys won the opener against the Cleveland Browns. Everything was going smoothly following those two big contract extensions for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. However, in a span of just 7 days, everything started to fall apart for America's team. The New Orleans Saints crushed them 44-19, and the Baltimore Ravens got a 28-25 victory. Both losses at Arlington. Now, with one of the toughest remaining schedule in the NFL, the Super Bowl seems like an almost impossible goal. Even in this scenario, Jones believes there is still hope for a turnaround. Can the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl? As it's been a tradition, Jerry Jones faced reporters after another big loss against the Baltimore Ravens. The owner thinks that the best lesson can be found on those 19 points in the fourth quarter, which almost produced an incredible comeback. In the end, these two defeats are an early warning to avoid a debacle. We couldn't get out of our own way. It's just a reminder of what this game is about. They can take some of what they showed at the end of that game, and we could forward with that. That's at least some taste end up in your mouth. We're sad, obviously, for our fans. Lost 2 in a row here at home. What's the Cowboys' record at home? Jerry Jones also talked about an impressive contrast for the Dallas Cowboys. They had a 16-game winning streak at home, and now they've lost 2 in a row playing at Arlington. 3 matchups, if we include the playoffs. Well, I'm not going to close the stadium if you're asking about that at all. But seriously, those hurt, those really hurt. I hate it. I'm so proud of every fan in every seat. Everybody that's not in a seat watching on television at home. But I hate it. Dak Prescott makes something clear to Dallas Cowboys after big loss against Ravens. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys suffered another loss at home against the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry absolutely dominated the running game with more than 230 yards combined on the ground. Now, the Cowboys have a 1-2 record and face a short week before visiting the New York Giants on Thursday Night Football. Considering their tough schedule ahead, it's a must-win scenario. So, in one of the biggest stories in the NFL, America's team is no longer seen as a Super Bowl favorite. However, Prescott believes there's enough time to make things work. Can the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl? That's the big question for the Dallas Cowboys after a third consecutive loss at home, including the playoffs. This was Dak Prescott's message for his teammates to make a comeback as soon as possible. We've got to help our defense. I know it's their standard, and they don't want to allow 28 points. But 28 points against an MVP player, an offense like that, that's a game we have to score 30 inches. We know it. We didn't do it. Us as players, we've got to be more professional. Understand our jobs, understand where we're supposed to be, and do that time and time again, and keep our focus. We've got to be cleaner and locked in. Take accountability. Micah Parsons takes big shot at Dallas Cowboys teammates after loss against Ravens. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys are in big trouble after a 28-25 loss against the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry was spectacular with 151 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, the Cowboys have a 1-2 record and face a really tough schedule with 6 playoff teams remaining on their calendar. Furthermore, the defense has allowed 120 points in the last 3 home games. Just incredible numbers for a supposed NFL contender. So, all that Super Bowl talk after a win at Cleveland has suddenly vanished. A lot of questions surround the franchise, including why there wasn't more help on offense for Dak Prescott. Jerry Jones explains big reason why Dallas Cowboys didn't sign Derrick Henry after loss against Ravens. During free agency this year, the Dallas Cowboys and Baltimore Ravens both signed former Pro Bowl running backs entering their 9th NFL seasons. The Ravens went with Derrick Henry, who piled up 151 yards and 2 touchdowns on 25 carries in a 28-25 win over the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium on Sunday. Dallas, conversely, opted to sign Ezekiel Elliott on a less expensive deal and established a rotation in its backfield. Elliott finished with 6 yards on 3 carries for the Cowboys Sunday, and Dallas as a team gained 51 yards on the ground, more than 200 fewer than Baltimore gained in total and 100 fewer than Henry amassed by himself. But owner and general manager Jerry Jones said afterward he never came close to signing Henry this offseason. Not really, Jones said. Hats off to him. He had a great day today, and I have all the respect in the world. So that's what happens when we don't sign good ones. They can come back and have a great game against you. Bottom line is we couldn't afford him. And why not? Why can't you buy a mansion when you live in a different kind of house you couldn't afford? Jones said. You can't make that all fit. Simple as that. In other words, Jones and the Cowboys, 1-2, didn't feel they had the salary cap space to commit to Henry, who joined the Ravens, 1-2, on a 2-year, $16 million contract this offseason. Elliott's deal with Dallas pays him $2 million over one season. All NFL teams face challenges when allocating their resources under the salary cap, and Jones' decision not to pursue Henry more aggressively was part of a financial balancing act. Dallas this summer gave large contracts to star quarterback Dak Prescott and wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, indicating a commitment to building a potent passing attack. At running back, they added Elliott to a group that includes Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn, neither of whom had started an NFL game entering the season. Elliott has significant NFL experience, but saw his numbers dip each of the past 3 seasons. Sunday, Henry and the Ravens averaged 6.1 yards per carry, while Elliott and the Cowboys gained 3.2 yards per rushing attempt. Dowdle was Dallas' lead back, gaining 32 yards on 8 carries. But none of the Cowboys' ball carriers showed the game-changing ability Henry did when he stomped and stiff-armed his way to 2 big runs, including a 26-yard touchdown early in the third quarter. Dowdle, Elliott, and Vaughn all averaged fewer than 4 yards per carry on the season, while another former Pro Bowler, Dalvin Cook, remains on the Cowboys' practice squad. Despite the slow start to the season, both Jones and coach Mike McCarthy expressed optimism after Sunday's loss that the running back by committee approach would begin to yield better results. We don't have enough run attempts, McCarthy said. I thought our guys, for the looks that they had, I didn't feel discouraged about the run game at all. Why didn't Derrick Henry go to the Cowboys? Jerry Jones admitted that the reason why Derrick Henry wasn't signed by the Dallas Cowboys were those 2 big contract extensions for Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. As the best free agent running back available, the owner had no margin to make a big offer, although that could have boosted his Super Bowl chances. We couldn't afford Derrick Henry. I don't know. Why can't you buy a mansion when you live in a different kind of house? We just couldn't afford it. We can't make that all fit. That's as simple as that. This wouldn't be solved with just jumping over there and getting Jim Brown.